Hello viewers, here's a brief look at some old computer stuff from the trash. Got a couple different computers. I've only got two here at this location, the rest are at the other location. These are the two that were most noteworthy. All good finds. Another one was a full-size Optiplex, maybe a 380, something like that. It was a Cord 2. There's some other older HP desktop. Not particularly interested in HP stuff, but if it works, it works. Bunch of cool monitors. I'm not going to show all the monitors in this video because I've already put some of them into service, so I'll show them in the next computers in the house video. Well, I'll go through some of the stuff that I got here today because it's some computers I was looking for. Here's one of the ones I was looking for. This is a Dell Optiplex 745 ultra small form factor. I used an Optiplex 745 with a Pentium D for many years as my primary desktop, and I've never seen these around, not often, but on occasion, always in businesses, of course, because that was the main use case for these Optiplex series machines. And so it's kind of a neat computer. This is a Core 2, so it's got a decent amount of power to it. I suspect, even though it's designed for Windows XP, it probably could handle 7. I don't know exactly how old this one is. I'd have to look up the service tag and find out. Well, I suppose we can do that, because not going to be a whole lot of other substance in this video, so let's get out the testing laptop and let's look up these service tag numbers and see just how old this really is. I would guess maybe 2005, 6, somewhere in that range. I have to plug this in because the battery doesn't work too good in here. You know, I should replace it with the other battery. Bought a new battery for my 6530 recently, and the battery that was in there that was being replaced was not totally depleted, but only gave like maybe 20 minutes of operation, and this one only gives about 20 seconds of operation, so I probably should repurpose that battery down here because this has already decided it needs to go to sleep. So anyway, so this is pretty cool, and what's even better about this is that it came with the power supply. Now these did not have the power supplies within the units. The more recent ones did, of this size, like the 990s, the 9020s, and so forth. Those had the power supply in the unit, but these did not. So you had to have this brick, and these, of course, are getting difficult to find. And it's some funny proprietary connector. So good luck trying to get a replacement alternative. Hopefully, this thing still works. This is how many watts is it? So I think it's got a lot of power. Yeah, 12 volts, 18 amps. So it does output quite a bit of power. Unfortunately, it's made in China. Takes in 4 amps. So this is quite a bit of power here on this thing. Let's go over to the Dell website. I'll type this service tag in and let's get some information on this computer. Okay, our service tag is BDK5CD1, and this is going to be a warranty expired in July 2011, so it started on 2008. So this computer is from 2008, so it's not all that old. I thought this was a little bit older. This would have been towards the end of the Windows XP, I guess. So I bet this probably does have the capability to be up to Windows 7 and run just fine. Let's see here. It offers drivers for Windows Vista. So typically if it can support Vista, it can support 7. Getting drivers may be a little bit of a fiasco, but if you can find them, which most likely I can, it will install and run. So I'm thinking if I can get this to work relatively well, this may be a bedroom computer at some point. It's only has one display output though, and there's no way to put no expansion here. You can't put a graphics card into this. It's DVI only. So that's really cool. Of course I don't know if it works, but I have no reason to believe it doesn't work. So there's that. An Optiplex 745 ultra small form factor, I think that's what it was called, with the power cord, which is getting pretty hard to come across. Well, I suppose we could, I'll save looking inside there for the dedicated video of that thing. So let's take a look at the other computer that we have here. This is a Dell Dimension computer, the smaller form factor. This one also is the Windows XP, and this one is a GX 280. And I am very fond of these Latitude machines. Not so much these small ones. I mean, they're just as good, I guess, but very fond of the Dimension series. They were really good computers. They last forever. You can run them day in and day out, and they just keep going. And the reality is, if you put more memory in them, they're not bad performers either. This one has a Pentium 4, and this one also was shipped with the Windows XP. Now the downfall of these, at least most of them anyways, was that they shipped with typically an inadequate amount of memory, like comically ridiculous, like 256 megabytes. And they would ship like that in 2008 or whatever it was, not that long ago. And I don't know if that was a fault of the consumer purchasing a model without, or purchasing a configuration rather, without doing proper research to find out what they really need, or if this was a fault of Dell for selling a configuration that just was never destined to work very well. For example, they sell laptops today with 64 gigabyte hard drives. Well, you can advertise it as a laptop, but it's really just a netbook, because you can't put much software on there, and you can't store many documents on there, so all you really can do is go on the internet. But that's a whole different story. Just for curiosity, let's see if I can get in here real quick and see how much memory it has. Forget exactly how these open. It's been quite a few years since I have worked on one of these. Something to do with I don't want to force anything because it's all plastic, you know. Gee, this is really pathetic. I can't remember how to open these things. I think it opened like a book. There's something with pressing this button here. I'll have to figure this out some other time. I just don't remember. Maybe is it this side that opens up? Oh, there we go. Let's see how much memory this one has. Well, this one has a whole gigabyte. This must have been upgraded probably. So this got a gigabyte of memory. And it's got a Western Digitan drive. Looks like an older drive. Western Digitan 80 gigabytes. And we have a date code on this drive, otherwise we'll look up the serial number again. I don't know. Oh, here we go, 2004. Okay, so a gigabyte in 2004 was solid. Oh, this thing's made a fool out of me. Somebody must have upgraded this. I can't imagine this actually shipped with a whole gigabyte in 2004. Jeez, the stickers are coming off here. But anyways, I remember seeing these around in school quite a bit, which is odd because at least the smaller ones, I mean the bigger ones, the full-size towers, I know those were primarily marketed for consumer grade stuff, you know, residential, and then the Optiplex was more for the commercial or enterprise situations. It's kind of odd that these ended up in the enterprise environment, but if they worked and they were economical, I could see why the public school systems would honestly, public school systems in general would go for these to save money. So that's pretty cool. I hope that works. That would be another one that I want to set up and use somewhere. And I don't know what the gigahertz is on there, but if it's at least 3 or 2.5, I think that's good enough for me. Alright, so we got, let's see what else we got here. We got some cords. This is a very thick power cord. This is a regular one. I don't know why this is so thick. It's only 14 gauge. I think it was like 12 or something. This is 14 gauge, and then this one is 18. So I don't know what this went to, but that's pretty heavy duty. Got a regular power cord here. Got a VGA cord with one of these things on it. These VGA cords are kind of a hit or miss because they do seem to wear out over time, and then the picture isn't clear anymore. So I do grab these if they look like they're in good condition. I have an issue with the bedroom. It eats VGA cords like you'd not believe. I have to change that cord out on there, I don't know, once every year, maybe even twice a year. It's ridiculous. I don't know, maybe it's just too, I keep the windows open in there a lot, so maybe it's just too humid, I don't know. But that room, and it's not the computer, it's not the screen, because I've changed I changed those out and I still have the problem. So, got some more VGA cords. Got a Dell Mouse. This is an older Dell Mouse. It's because it's got the trackball. You know, it's kind of funny because people are like, oh, this is obsolete, you better throw it out. But these mice work on just about every surface fathomable. Meanwhile, the optical mice don't. So I kind of think that these are superior. And then of course we got these. I always grab these whenever I see them. These iconic Dell Mice. This is like I use that mouse everywhere. It's a good mouse. It clicks nicely. It does what it's supposed to do. The ergonomics are decent. So I use these almost exclusively. And whenever I see them, I grab them. Especially these were in pretty good condition. They're still relatively clean. So we got 3 of these. This one looks like it's hardly even used. The scrolling isn't sticky on any of these. And then we got an extension cord, which, unless it doesn't work, I don't know why it wouldn't work, but it's in great condition. Came with a free trash bag. If this thing works, I mean, it's got to work. It's a stinking extension cord. Let's see. Sure does. Works just fine. Oh, better throw it out, buy a new one. It's a day old. Oh no. Some people are ridiculous. Alright, so we got a nice extension cord. This is a good one to use inside because it's still pretty clean. Doesn't even look like it's that old. It's a, is it a 14 or a 16? I can't quite tell. It's a 16, so it's not going to hold too many amps. I forget what the rating is for 16 amp. This is long. This is probably at least 75 feet, 75 or 100. But at 16 gauge, you're not carrying too many amps. You'll get a heat issue. So, nice cord, but it's not going to be carrying much power. We've got some hard drives here of varying capacities. We got a 1 terabyte, a 1.5 terabytes, a 2 terabytes, and a 3 terabytes. These all are from the early 2010s. This one's June 2010, February 2010, November 2008. That was a little bit older. That's his scratch. I don't know if it's busted or what. And this one is January 2011. So they're all about, within a year or two of each other. I've debated about using old hard drives in my server because it's almost full right now. I've got a total of about 4 terabytes in there. I've got one 3 terabyte drive, and then the OS resides on a terabyte drive. I split that up. I need to give the OS maybe 50 or 60, and then the rest is data. So I have about 4 terabytes in there, and it's just about full. So I'm thinking I'll change. I got to look and see how many drive bays are in there. I think there's 4 drive bays and 4 SATA ports. So what I may do is I may put the OS on an older drive, like an 80 gigabyte drive, and then I'll put another 3 in there. We'll get 6 terabytes. The backup service I have only does 5, but it should be a long time before I get the 5. Part of me says just buy a new drive for the server because storage is cheap, but at the same time it's like this is free, so free is better than cheap. And if it breaks, it breaks. It backs up every night. Nothing's going to really get lost if it breaks. So I'm thinking I'm just going to use these drives. And if they last a year and then they quit, then it's a year for free. It just doesn't make... Like, even if I take this 1 terabyte and throw the OS on this 1 terabyte, it's free. So why not? So I'm going to test those. If they work and they're okay, then I'm gonna put them in the server, because I'm not going to buy new equipment when I have working equipment here. It just doesn't make any sense. So also we got some monitors, a bunch of older cold cathode Dell ones. And we'll get to those in the other video. I'll show you one of them now real quick. And we'll get back to these monitors. We got, let's see here. We got that one, it works. That's good working. I got this one here. This is the older cold cathode kind. I'm not sure what size this is. I think this is in between the size of the other ones and the size that I have. I got 2 ones that are like 1.5 inches smaller than this, but I put it in the bedroom. So that was a pretty cool configuration. I'll show that on video soon. So I got those. I haven't tested those thoroughly yet. They passed the self-test, so they're probably fine. This one does not pass the self-test. The power's on, and then it kind of stops about a second after operation. This one is working. I thought this was the same as the same model that I use for testing. That one over there. I use that one for testing because it's got so many different inputs. It's great. This one does not have quite as many inputs. It's got it's still got quite a few. It's got VGA, DVI, it's not composite. S-Video, which is pretty old. Component, I guess that's old too. And the other thing I really like about these monitors is that they have the card reader on the side. And depending on your use case, that's awesome to be able to get a whole, always ready to go card reader in your setup just through one USB port. Of course, it's not going to be that fast because it's only USB 2, but it'll work. So that's really cool. I like these monitors a lot. This one does work, but the stand is kind of wonky. You know, like it doesn't quite stay up the way it's supposed to. So I'm wondering if perhaps I can take the stand from this one. I'm not sure if they're the same. I tend to think they are, because the stand on this one works just fine. So maybe maybe I can take the stand off of this one and swap it out with the stand on this one, and then I'll have one fully working screen. It kind of looks like it's the same. Nah, I was afraid it wasn't going to be the same, like spring-loaded or something. That's even worse. Yeah, it's physically the same, but there's something internally different. I kind of figured that would be the case because the spring would have to be a different different strength in order to you know, handle a different size monitor. So I wonder if this could be repaired. I'm not really sure what's wrong with it. Well, I guess we can't do that. If you wanted at the bottom, you could do that. Otherwise, yeah, there's not really. See, the problem is, I'm kind of inclined to use this stand anyways, and maybe just like wrap something around here to hold it in place, because this stand, it's not quite straight. Not that this one is all that much better, but this one, the angle. Oh, did this just jam? There we go. The angle wasn't. I didn't think it seemed like it was quite right. Although now it looks like it's better. What is going on here? Well, I guess this one's just as bad. You know what? Maybe it's not broke. Maybe it's just the wrong stand. I know what we're going to do. I'm going to get that testing monitor over here. I'm going to take the stand off of that one, because I think the stand works okay on this testing screen. Yeah, it does. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the stand off this testing screen because the angle of it doesn't really make any difference to me. And I'll take this stand, put this on here because it's in a little bit better condition than the other one is. And the other one doesn't work anyways. And if the, you know, thing is like that, then it's like that. Oh, I'm getting confused. This is the testing monitor. I'm going to put the other stand in. I'll keep this stand as a spare because it's good. It's only for like a 15 or 20 inch monitor. I'll take this other screen, take the stand off of this. And so this is the stand that don't stand up. Put it on here on the testing screen. And the testing screen acts like that, I don't care. It doesn't make a difference to me. I could just prop it up on something during a video. And I'm totally fine with that. I'd rather have this screen work. Much better. Yeah, okay. So that's good. Now I have a perfectly good working screen there. This, I'm going to keep, I'll just put it back on here for now. I'm going to do a video of this screen. Maybe somebody can provide some insight on the failure this one's experiencing. I don't know if it's easy to fix or not. Anyway, so that's it. That's what I got here recently. Cool stuff. I got plans to use this and the working one as a setup. Definitely want to use those other two desktops if I get them going. Extension cord's always good, so this was a good haul.